What's up, y'all? We're back with another graphic breakdown. This one's on Patreon, so if you want to follow along with me, you can go look at that, download it, and jump right in. We have this texture, topographical map line texture sort of thing. Set that to overlay at 25% on top of this yellow background. Then we have captain's text, and we have a gradient overlay with an inner shadow. As you can see, this inner shadow right here makes it look a little 3D. The gradient goes from like a yellowish to an orange. Gradients are always good. Rectangle in the top right. This whole graphic is gonna be rectangles, and we have their faces with some ring light photos that I took. So that's basically what's going to be outlining the whole graphic. And what I did there was put a camera raw filter on them. This is a big part of it. So I sharpened it to 10. I put saturation at 0, clarity way up, texture way up, shadows down, highlights down. It's probably different for all of them. You want to pull as much texture out as you can. I mean, look at like how detailed he is. And it like doesn't look bad because they're such high quality photos that you can really pull a lot of texture out of them. And they're high quality photos because I got really close to them. I had a ring light, and as you can see in their eyes, and it just pulls out a lot of detail. So I was really happy with those. We just have rectangles going, or I guess squares going around the whole image. Another photo, same treatment. Also use an unsharp mask. Instead of sharpening them a ton in Camera Raw, I get on here, sharpen, unsharp mask, and then you can make them sharp that way. So same thing with all these, and just look at like how detailed they look. This one, he was not a ring light photo. So all the rest of these guys, I took these photos. This guy was not there, so I had to sort of make do with a random photo that I found, and then I just went in and put a little white circle in his eye so it matched the rest of them. And I think it's a pretty good job. It's a pretty good match. You can tell by the lighting that it's a different setup. I mean, all these guys have like shadows on the sides of their faces, whereas he has this light on the right side of his face, so you can tell it's not what it's supposed to be. But so then we don't want to distract from their faces, so I just used a black brush and basically just softly painted in next to them. So now it's just their faces, super high detail. And then I went in with a curves layer with a little bit of an S curve and made them even more contrasty looking. And you can mess with that a bunch as well. You don't want to overdo it, but like basically you want to like kind of try and push it to the limit of like detail and contrast without going overboard. And I think I like, honestly, this is one of my favorite graphics I've ever made. I think I hit it like just about perfectly. You know, other people might disagree, but you can definitely go too far with this. But I think I kind of crushed it on this one. Then I used a color lookup to kind of do the same thing again, give them that unified look. Again, like I still don't think it's like too much. I mean, with this guy, obviously, like it doesn't look as good because his photo is not as high quality, but like just the rest of these photos are so crispy. You can tell right here by looking at the rest of these versus this guy what high quality photos do for you. And like I'm way up in these guys' faces when I'm taking these photos. So that's what I mean by high quality. Like a lot of times it's very hard to find super high quality images of athletes like online and stuff because they're shot from far away and they've been like converted to like JPEG and put on Google and like this, that, and the other. All these things that are like lowering the quality of them, and they end up looking like this, and you can just tell this is not as high of a quality of image versus this guy. Like just look at the like skin texture, the beard texture, their eyes, like it's just so crispy versus this guy. This is like a Google image quality type thing. I still think it like fits in okay. Just showing you what a quality image can do for your graphic. So we have the star I put over top that has an inner shadow and a drop shadow, and what that's doing is making it 3D. As you can see, like that's it without it. You put that on it, double click the layer, add a drop shadow, inner shadow, and it makes it kind of pop off the page. And that's just me making it yellow. I did that with a linear light thing, and then it kind of turned out orange, so I used this hue saturation to make it yellow. And then we have 4 more black stars around the edges, and we needed that space beside them to fit in all their names, which also turned out really well. Like it looks so clean and not cluttered, which is so hard to do with how much information we have on here. Like I have 8 photos blown up, so it's like huge crispy photos of their faces, all their names, huge captains text down the middle, and it just like turned out so well. And what I did was made their first name smaller. This is usually like a good rule of thumb. Make their last name the bigger, bolder. If you can only put one, obviously put their last name, not their first name, unless they have an iconic first name. But so yeah, I just put their first name below their last name. All their last names are the same size text. The first name is changed depending on like how long it is and stuff. But I think that looks really good. So we have the lighting from the top right and the shadow on the bottom left. And I think, again, I mean, this just makes it look even more clean. And then lastly, we have our color. And wow, like you can't get much more of a pop than that right there. Like when they say make it pop, like this is one of those graphics for me, like one of my favorite graphics. Like you could lick it, it's so clean. I mean, it doesn't get much crispier than that right there, ladies and gentlemen. It's on the Patreon. Go check it out. Remember, high quality photos are the key to designing. See you in the next one.